He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Let that sink in for a second. The reason why you can never get anything done isn't necessarily because you're unmotivated or burnt out. It's because you have no reason to actually do anything. You have no reason, or you haven't given yourself a good enough reason for you to want to achieve the things that you say that you want to do. That's why you can never stay consistent with anything. If you've noticed, typically what will happen is you'll say you want to do X thing, you'll work hard on it for maybe 2 days or so, and then you just give up, you'll flop, because you don't have a strong enough reason to complete the task at hand, to do the thing that you want to do. If I lit a fire right now under your seat, clearly you'd be motivated to move. If I gave you a button and every time that you pressed it, you got $10,000, you'd be motivated to press that button because the why is way greater. The prize for doing the thing is way greater than the cost of actually doing it. So what you need to do if you want to get anything done is to give yourself a strong enough reason to do the thing that you're not doing. Now, quite obviously, this is a brand new channel. The purpose of it isn't necessarily to entertain you. It's not supposed to be mindless content. For the majority of the time, it's going to be stuff that actually confronts you, not necessarily controversial topics. It's mostly stuff that you already know, but you need to be told in a different tone because you apparently didn't learn the first time. But let's get into how to actually improve yourself right now. Stop consuming, start applying. You already know all of the work that you need to do. It's never a case of, or sometimes maybe, you'll search up like a self-improvement video and you'll maybe like follow a few steps and you'll get up for 4 a.m. runs and whatever else. It's not necessarily a case of you not knowing what work needs to be done. It's that you're not motivated enough, or you don't feel like you're motivated enough to do the work. So you'll keep on putting it off. You'll keep on saying, crap, this thing came up, I can't do it today. And it's a never-ending cycle of you being tired, you being fatigued, you being burnt out. Most people, what they'll do is they'll binge advice the same way that they watch Netflix or the same way that they eat junk food. They'll keep consuming, but they never take the time to actually process the information, to ever digest it, to ever actually use their own brain to cater the information to their own life. Everybody wants solutions handed to them quickly because nobody likes to do critical thinking. Newsflash, if you ever actually want to start something, if you ever actually want to start something worthwhile, then chances are you're going to have to sit there for long periods of time, convince yourself why you want to even do said thing, plan out the steps on how to do it, and then boom, suddenly you're a millionaire, right? It's never the man who knows more necessarily that accomplishes the task faster. It's the person that does more. If two people, they start a race to see who becomes the first millionaire, who do you think is going to do it first? The guy who tries businesses and fails and learns and tries and fails, or the guy that's spending countless hours dedicating his life to basically finding the perfect business model, the perfect thing to get him to $1 million? Who do you think is going to reach it first? The guy who keeps on planning, who keeps critiquing every little step, every little thing, because he thinks he's, for whatever reason, smarter than all the other millionaires who did it by just trying? Who do you think is going to get there quicker? It's obviously going to be the guy who's actually doing work, learning from his mistakes and pushing forward regardless. So the best thing that you can take away from that is that, one, when it comes to you thinking that you're planning whatever else, it's pretty much just procrastination. You procrastinating is just you waiting. You waiting is you wasting time. So today, do the one thing that you've been avoiding to do. Do it halfway the first time, sort of learn the mistakes that you made and keep on improving until you can finally do the thing fully. It doesn't help for you to sit there day in, example, you want to become an influencer. It doesn't help for you to sit there for 6 months planning video ideas or 3 months in, I'm gonna launch my clothing brand. That doesn't help anybody. You trying to plan long term doesn't do anything. You could die tomorrow, so your planning is for nothing. The best thing you can do for yourself is to start applying things today and learn from the mistakes you make on the way. All right, point number 2, eliminate distractions. A lot of the time, your mind is completely fried, is completely cluttered, not necessarily because you've got ADHD or whatever else, but because your attention is scattered. Every single second you have some kind of notification, some kind of buzz, some kind of hit of dopamine, so you can never concentrate on anything. That's why, at least from the influencers that I've seen, like Hamza, Ashton Hall, whoever else, they put a massive emphasis on meditation. Meditation, essentially, all that is just putting all of your focus on one thing. The reason you want to train your brain to be able to do that is so that when it comes to deep work, your brain isn't all over the place. If you say that you want to sit there and come up with a content plan, then you sit there and come up with a content plan. You don't do the content plan, play a game of chess, answer phone calls on the side, unless, of course, you're like a hyper-productive human being. But that's the people that have already made it, the people that have already proved that they're capable of even doing all that. You, as somebody who's still learning, you as somebody who hasn't necessarily accomplished the things that they want to accomplish, you've got to sit there. You've got to be able to do deep work without picking up your phone every second, without getting distracted. Now, for anybody that says that they're one of one, that they're one of 50, or they want to be different from everybody else, what you need to understand is, for you to actually be classified as somebody that's different, you got to have different activities that you do. You got to have a different way of life that you live. You either detach from the herd or you die with them. You can't be doing what everybody else is doing, scrolling on TikTok mindlessly, watching YouTube reels, binging Netflix shows. If you want to become the greatest athlete in the world, if you want to become a 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneur, you got to become a master at your craft. You become a master at your craft by dedicating every other minute that you have to getting good at that thing. Otherwise, what you do is you kill off your momentum. Once your momentum is gone, then you have no other thing that's driving you to actually do the thing that you set out to do. Third point here is going to be you mastering daily wins. Change doesn't come from big actions. It's more so small steps that then create big change. So if I want to learn how to run a marathon, sure, I could do a 5-kilometer run here, 10-kilometer run there, and then just run the marathon. But those are massive, massive steps. For me to even, let's say I've just been born out of the womb. I've just come out of the womb, and somehow I'm a really smart baby. I say I want to run a marathon. Before I even attempt running, I've got to learn how to walk. I've got to learn how to balance myself. And then after that, I've got to learn how to walk a little bit faster, how to eventually run, and then how to pace myself. Like, there are so many little steps there. A lot of people, they'll say, they'll create these massive goals, and then everything will just be dedicated towards reaching that massive goal. If anything, stop focusing on anything. It's going to sound bad, but stop focusing on long-term goals. You don't know how long you have to live, and you don't know what you're going to be doing 2 years from now. The only power that you hold as a human being is being able to complete your daily checklist. You win today, repeat tomorrow. That's the motto I live by. That's the motto of the channel. Because that's something that you have direct control over. You set things in the beginning of the day. You set a checklist. You say exactly what you want to do. You get those things done. And then you repeat the same thing tomorrow. That's how you eventually reach the things that you want to reach. Because you're not going to get there by setting unrealistic goals, saying 5 years from now. And I've fallen victim to this as well. You can't say 5 years from now, I want to have a net worth of 50 million. When you have $20 in your account, no business, you have no clients, you have nothing set up. Set a task for today, set a task for tomorrow, and get in the habit of finishing those tasks. Eventually allow yourself to be caught in an upward spiral where all you're doing is winning, because that's all that you're used to doing. Let me share with you a cheat code for life in general, right? If you ever want to get lucky, I'll give you a lottery example. If you ever want to win the lottery, you know that the best way to increase your chances is to buy as many lottery tickets as possible. Buying one ticket out of 20 million or whatever else and hoping that you get it isn't a very good way for you to win the lottery. If anything, what you do is you buy as many tickets as possible, because at least then your chances are higher of you maybe getting lucky. It's the same thing with anything else. If you ever want to catch a lucky break, if you ever want to catch that lucky opportunity, you have to be there every single day working. Now, there's a whole other conversation about burnout and whatever else, which I'll cover in a future video, but you should be able to get the point at least. For you to be able to get that lucky break, for you to be able to have any kind of monumental progress, you need to make sure that you're at least completing your daily tasks. If you don't, then chances are you're going to end up in the same place. If you don't change the lane that you're in currently, you're going to end up exactly where you're headed. If that's poverty, that's poverty. If it's an early grave, it's an early grave. But the thing that you know that you need to do right now, you implement it today. You ask yourself, or you ask ChatGPT, whatever it is, you find out what it is that you need to do today, and then you do that thing without hesitation instantly. It could be something as simple as making your bed, 5 push-ups, 10 push-ups, whatever it is, go to the gym. You don't worry about the 90-day goals. You focus on the 90 seconds of discipline that you have right now. Instead of scrolling on TikTok, this is a bit extreme. Instead of scrolling on TikTok, what you could do is maybe search up what's happening in the business world right now, or find out what stocks to invest in, or come up with your target niche for whatever digital product that you want to launch, right? There are always things that you can do to better yourself right now instead of just mindlessly wasting your time. You're like a zombie. Now, the version of you that you look up to, the sharp, disciplined version, is looking at you right now, whether that's 6 months ahead, 10 months ahead. They're looking at you right now, wondering when you're actually going to start doing the things to become them. You're the only person that can make this work, and you're also the only person that can mess this up.